It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Schick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Cool.
Hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
I just don't think I have a lot this week.
Oh, hell. Here goes an hour.
I can't even, I don't even know what I've watched this week, honestly. I know the TV's been on, but I'm kind of at that in-between stage right now where all of my regular TV shows have had their finales, and now we're just kind of in limbo waiting. So, I don't know. Hopefully something good will come out.
Waiting for the strike to end.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is true. But, like, even on YouTube, there's, I don't know, just not a lot that's caught my attention.
Okay.
It's an interesting
Mikey?
problem to have.
Yes.
Just too much Paw Patrol and all of that going on there. Too distracting.
Yeah. That's what we do during the day. I guess by the time she goes home, it's just, bleh. Why bother with it?
Dang, I don't even know how to react. Going too soon here. Sheesh. I haven't had my customary 20-30 minutes to think of something. Well,
I don't have anything to springboard off of.
I know. I got to come up with something all by myself here. This is crazy. Honestly, I have been watching.
You are reaching, aren't you?
I'm scrambling here. No, that's just an inability to put words together at this point. No, I've been watching some stuff, but I haven't really finished anything yet. I guess I would have been kind of distracted over the weekend because the game I play, Dungeons and Dragons Online, has started their new hardcore season, which is basically, it's the same game, but it's like a permadeath version, which they only run for limited times, a couple of times a year, and the game is old enough and the players have been playing long enough that people actually get excited about it because it's kind of a different way of doing the same game that everybody loves. So
Right.
It's distracting, and so that has been distracting me for the last 4 or 5 days. I guess they fired it up Wednesday. That's what they usually do. So that has been distracting me a bit. So I haven't focused as much on watching stuff. I am watching, like I said, some stuff, but I haven't actually buckled down to finish any of it. So. And then I had, God, I don't even know what was going on this weekend. It was a little weird. I almost forgot what we were doing this week. Almost. I did remember with plenty of time to prep, but I did almost kind of forget because I was just so tired Sunday. I was just like, ugh. But don't worry, I am ready. For real. My picks may be a little weird, but they're picks.
Surprisingly, his picks will be the same as Les's.
Yeah, we just got to get Les to go first so we can all go, yeah, that's who I picked, yeah.
That's it. Get out of my head, man.
Now you're never going to get him to go first.
Got that right.
Since he's going last this week.
Yep.
I'll buy that for $1.
We'll let him go last so he can tell us how it should be done, by golly.
Yep.
And show us how we
Wow.
screwed it all up ourselves.
Point out the good ones we missed.
Right,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay, that's a compliment list.
Foul.
Especially after years, we're all like, oh, wow, I did not think of that one.
We all still do it every time anyway, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Les,
I don't want to play anymore.
Your problem here is that you're not very good at taking a compliment. I mean, admittedly, we specialize in backhanded compliments on this show, but still.
But this time it's good. It really is.
uh-huh.
Keep selling it, Liz. Keep selling it.
He's falling for it. Do it.
Okay, Les.
Well, for me, it's been an unusual week. I talked with Thomas the other day and explained that I had gone to see the new movie Renfield, which is not slapstick funny, but it is amusing. And to have Nicolas Cage play Dracula is as strange as when he did his cut of Superman. It's that bizarre a feeling. But Nicholas Hoult was very good, and I don't remember the female lead, but she was pretty good too. I recommend it, but just don't think that they're going to be told anything new and different in the Dracula storyline. Yeah, that's not what I got. Because everybody's mean to me.
Quicker than me.
It's good to hear that it's good, though. It makes me a little more interested in seeing it.
I had heard, didn't they kind of recreate a couple of scenes from the Lugosi Dracula?
Yes.
Now I'm interested in seeing that.
Cool. I mean, the scary part is that at this point, when most movies that do that, it's usually meant to be funny, but I don't know. We'll see.
I can see it going either way, but who knows? Maybe most of it's played straight, and then there's a couple one-liners or some such. Well, we'll see.
Right, we just have to watch it and see.
Not a whole heck of a lot for me. I'm still kind of doing the binging of of Gunsmoke, something has been kind of, I'm watching the early stuff, and I was like, there's something there that just seemed a little off. I'm like, I can't figure out what the deal is, but it finally dawned on me. It looks like for season 1, I don't know how much further they went in with it. They dyed James Arnezz's hair jet black, and they even did his eyebrows jet black. And I'm like, that looks a little weird, because when you get a little bit later into the series, and you can see the hair looks a little bit more natural, and it's kind of a lighter brown, dishwater blonde, whatever, that kind of thing. And then definitely when it gets into color, it's obviously brown, but it's just like it looks so. Now that I think about it, it's like it's so obviously dyed. It's just like, what was the thinking? I haven't taken the time to research and find out why they did that, but it's wow.
Well, and it was in black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
But still,
interesting that they're. I mean, clearly there was maybe something they thought about his hair that was reacting poorly to the lighting.
I guess, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't taken the time to look into it, but I'm sure it's been discussed somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look into it.
It's got to be on the internet, right?
I was just like, there's something that's just a little off, and then I see it. Okay, yeah, that's got to be it.
I've got a feeling it's just to accentuate the black.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. I mean, but I think the question is why. I mean, did they think they were going to keep it up forever? Did they? What made them decide to stop doing it? I mean, I don't know. It's a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of trivia that, like I said, shows up on the internet somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
People love that stuff.
Yep.
Pretty much including us.
I'll try to look into it and see if I can get an answer for next time.
Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Woo. Okay, before we get into this week's discussion, I do want to point out that we do have a Discord that's open for anybody to join us. Excuse me. We post a lot of news items, stuff for discussion, stuff to laugh at, video. Mute, Liz. Mute.
How do you mute hiccups? I mean, they're kind of random.
No, but do the microphone though. Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, that's funny. It's not nice of me to laugh at her misfortune at getting hiccups, but
Yeah, it is.
Discord. Sign up is free. The app is free and available in any app store. We do have an open invitation on our homepage, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Yeah, come join us. We have a lot of fun on there. There's usually 2 or 3 of us, just of the fellowship on all the time. So, you like the show? Want to keep hanging out with us? There you go.
Discord's a good place to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we only make fun of Liz most of the time. Not all of the time.
as much as we can get off with. Yeah.
Mm.
There you go.
I think I'm good. Ugh.
No, don't say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Famous
I
last
think
words.
I'm thinking I'm good too. Okay. This week's going to be a little special because we originally intended this to be 2 separate episodes, but we were combining it since it's focusing on one particular character. This year marks the 65th anniversary of the first appearance of Adam Strange, DC Comics character. It's funny because I was thinking about it a little bit. I never really thought about it until it just dawned on me where he's almost like DC's version of Buck Rogers. Instead of him being a man lost in time, he's sent to another planet, but he's able to come back every I forgot what the time period is right now, but part of the reason why I wanted to do this is one of Les's favorite characters, so I'm sure he's been chomping at the bit to talk a little bit about Adam Strange. So
He's not going to go first this week. I'll keep tradition.
What did you say?
Okay, I'm not real versed in Adam Strange. To tell you how well not versed I am in this, I was thinking maybe it was Doctor Strange's son, and then I got to looking and it was like, oh, this is DC. It can't be Doctor Strange. So I'm not very familiar, but the more I got to looking into this, I'm not very familiar with Adam Strange, but I am familiar with some of the villains that are here on our list because they have appeared like in Green Lantern and The Flash and stuff. So off the bat, I will say that 1992 syndicated series for Adam Strange. I decided at first when I was looking at him, and, all the research, the pictures they have of him and everything else, I'm thinking, he looks like Doogie Howser. So I thought, oh, Neil Patrick Harris, but he was too young. So instead, I went with another guy who is very familiar with time travel, and I went with Michael J. Fox. In 92, he would have been late 30s, or early 30s, mid 30s. So...
Okay, so we're going to go ahead into the casting call. Okay, good. All right.
Oh, I thought that's what we did. No.
Well, we want to talk a little bit about the history of the character and all that kind of stuff first.
I'm sorry.
But,
okay.
No, that's okay.
No,
let's go
ahead.
Let's go ahead and do the casting call. You've already started, so.
I can backtrack. I'm good at that. I did see where the first appearance that we are talking about. That was one of the ones I did read for the research. It was 2 standalone stories, and I'll agree. Yeah, I did get like a Buck Rogers feel from those stories. I didn't understand the whole how he was teleported out and he had to wait for a beam. I didn't understand that part, so maybe Les can explain that to us a little better. Or to me a little better.
The character Adam Strange was created, and when it was decided to do this, let me try to remember who was involved. It was Julius Schwartz, and who was the other guy? There were two writers that were given the opportunity to create a new character. One was Julius Schwartz, the other was, I can't remember. But
John Gruden.
This thing I read talked about Gardner Fox.
Irwin, can't remember Irwin's last name though. But
Donenfeld.
yeah, no, not Donenfeld. But the other guy was to make a character, a spaceman in the future, and he came up with Space Ranger. Schwartz was given the opportunity to do a space character from the present. So he came up, he and Murphy Anderson and some others came up with Adam Strange. Adam Strange is an archaeologist who, in his first venture, was looking around a site when he was hit by the Zeta beam. The Zeta beam was something that was shot toward Earth, and when it hit Adam, it transported him from Earth to Ran, which is a planet in the Alpha Centauri.
So was that just random, or?
Yes, it was just random.
Okay.
At first one. Strange went to Ran and ended up fighting various people, villains. And when I say villain, I'm saying somebody that is either attacking Ran or is living on Ran and attacking the various people. The thing is, then the Zeta beam would wear off and Adam would return to Earth. But when he was on Ran, he found out more or less what the time schedule was, so he could take the next bus to Ran.
He got the beam schedule.
Yeah. He found a cart would pick him up and transport him. And that's what would go on every month. He would fly to the specific site and know what time it was to get hit with the beam and transport to Ren. And when I say fly, I'm talking about jetpack type flight. He would take on people, creatures, or villains, and what I recall as a rumor, I can't verify this, but it was essentially that Murphy Anderson, and he was not the first artist on this series. But when Murphy Anderson took it over, he would do a cover, a simulation cover, and hand it to the writer and say, here's your story. Gardner Fox was usually the man that wrote, and he had a tough time, I'm sure, because the guy would just say, here's your cover, I want a story. And this has got to appear in this, and you've got to figure out how it starts and how it ends. That's got to be it.
Yeah.
That's something I would not want to face. That's
No.
sure.
It's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They Adam Strange first appeared in Showcase magazine, and that was a 3-issue arc. They thought it was just going to be a one-time deal, but it caught on big time. So they manufactured a lot of the background for it. One of the stories that I really remember, not the best story, but the one I really remember is a cover of Adam. You see Adam from behind, and there is a person coming toward him, reaching out. Actually, there are 2 people, identicals, reaching out. And Adam is told that if he gets touched by this alien, he will die. And I will say that the solution to it was magnificent. It was so smart. Adam was kind of similar to Batman on another planet, because his was a lot of mystery. That's why he ended up in the magazine Mystery in Space. Jack Schiff was the other writer that took Space Ranger.
Wasn't he also like Batman because he didn't have any superpowers or anything either?
No superpowers. He had an arsenal. He had a jetpack. He had a gun, things like that. But he did not have any superpowers.
Yeah. Cool.
The series ran, Mystery in Space, with Adam Strange, ran 49 issues. He ran in 53 through 100 and 102. So that was his initial run. During this run, they did a storyline that I've talked about before. And in fact, I just reread it today. It was the planet that came to a standstill. And this features Kanjar-Ro, who was, I think, in issue number 1 of Justice League of America. He was their first villain. And he ran this slave ship of space. No, I take that back. That was number 2. First one was Despero. But anyway, Adam has persevered and been a stalwart. I've said it before, and Thomas iterated that he is one of my favorite characters because he had the smarts and he had the know-how as to what would defeat a character. You've got people like Mike Sikowski, who was doing Justice League. You've had Carmine Infantino, who was doing The Flash. You just have some really good artists and writers for this whole run. and the entire run is available. So, yeah, I'm going to plug it. I'm going to say, find it, enjoy it. It's just good stuff to read.
Yeah, it's. I find it interesting though, given the way you describe him and some of the other descriptions I've read about him. Um, I get a strong Doc Savage vibe, who I know is also another one of your favorites. So I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I can see why Les likes this guy.
Rather than Doc Savage, I would say John Carter of Mars. You have the character transported to Mars, and he does come back before he goes off to the next book. But difference there is that Carter had the superpower. He had more power than a normal human.
Right.
But I can see the Doc Savage part too.
And they also every time it's fun. They bring him back every so often, and I'm looking at kind of at least a partial list of times when they brought him back, and man, it's usually a pretty damn good writer, which helps. I think maybe
Yeah.
that's how the character keeps being awesome all the time. Is you're bringing in people like Grant Morrison and Mark Waid and Jeff Lemire and Andy Diggle and folks like that.
Yeah.
And it's also cool that they're the ones that want apparently to bring him back. So clearly they're seeing something fun about the character.
Yeah.
And to me, it's kind of sad that Space Ranger isn't given the same feeling. Space Ranger was similar to Strange in the way that he was solving mysteries also. He was not just out there to shoot them up. But DC also had Space Cabbie. I don't know that anyone remembers that, but yeah, Space Cabbie, a guy who would get around because he had a cab and fly from planet to planet. But I digress. There were several storylines, like Mike was just saying, several storylines for Strange. And you have the Ranthanagar War that was run in 2 series, in fact. So,
With a bunch of interesting co-stars.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. People should get more into Adam Strange.
Yep.
I would like to see that happen.
There's a lot of cool stories there.
And there were attempts at film. There was wasn't there a HBO Max series that was shut down?
It's possible.
Yeah. They were going to call it Strange Adventures.
Okay.
But this was in the time that they were shutting everything down, pretty much. So
True.
it got scrapped quick, apparently.
But that's a little background.
There you go. Awesome. Well, do you want to go ahead and give your choice for who you'd have as play Adam Strange?
For Adam Strange?
Mm-hmm.
One of the big actors at that time was Mel Gibson,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I went a different route. I didn't go as young as Michael J. Fox, but I did go Rob Lowe.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Very nice. You want me to go next, Mikey, or do you want to go?
Oh, I don't care. I'll go next.
Oh, okay.
I went probably even younger than Michael J. Fox, but I did it for a specific reason that I will have to hint about because I will get to it later. I ended up picking someone who later on would become kind of the swashbuckling adventurer, or at least really well known for doing a role like that. This 92, which is where this series is set, or when the series is set, he would have been just starting to break in, and he would have been pretty young, I think, for the role. But I'm giving it to a young Brendan Fraser.
That works.
Cool. Yeah.
I can see that.
I think it probably would have worked better if this was 3 or 4 years later, but I still think, I mean, the potential from The Mummy is there, obviously. So.
Right. Yeah. I had a couple of names, but the second name I kind of dropped off pretty quick and just stuck with this one because I can just see he's not really done a lot of action adventure, and the one film that was action adventure was also kind of was a comedy too. Was more comedy than action adventure, but still, it was due to the material that the comedy was on. But I went with Carrie Ills.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Because I could see him being the archaeologist and all that, but I can also see him being the adventurer and like you said, the trying to solve the mysteries and all that. I could see him do all of that.
Okay.
You could get almost all of that just in The Princess Bride, but anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay. Liz?
All right. The second one we have is Alana, which is Doctor Strange's, or Doctor Strange, let's do me.
Go to the
Adam
back of the room,
Strange's
young lady.
different side. It's first his love interest, later on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
At first, when I'm looking, when I was reading the story and just kind of looking at her and everything else, the first picture I had in my head was Neve Campbell, but she would have been way too young for this one. So I went with Courtney Cox.
Okay.
Who, yeah, she had some decent roles. TV,
Who was
not
definitely
movies.
new
So,
cover.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, this would have been early in her career, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Wait till we
Sure.
get to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, Les?
For this one, wow. You could have gone another popular person was Phoebe Cates,
Oh, yeah.
but I went with Daphne Zuniga.
Cool. Cool.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
She's tough.
It is.
I like that idea.
I do too.
Talk about giving her some personality. That would be great.
Yep. I like that one too. Okay,
Mhm.
Mikey.
Okay, so this is one I actually picked kind of late in the process. I never go in order. I usually end up just starting to look people up, and it ends up being pretty random. And Alana was one of the later ones that I picked, which was why I ended up changing my pick for Adam Strange. Because I got kind of stuck on someone, and part of the problem is that she's pretty young, but I think this is a place. I think she's a character that you can get away with that to some extent. She's not like a child. She would have been like 19 or 20 at the time. I picked Alyssa Milano for this.
Okay.
As much based on stuff she did later as anything else, but
Yeah.
when I picked a 19 or 20-year-old for this role, I couldn't very well pick the nearly 50-year-old person I picked for Adam Strange originally, which was Dirk Benedict. So if we ever get to the point where we're doing an older Adam Strange, there you go. But
Old Man Strange.
Old Man Strange. There we go. I can see it. But
yeah, I like that.
I do too.
I do too. Yep.
The person I picked, she had been around for a couple of years. Most of it was bit parts on TV shows and all that, which makes sense because it's kind of funny because about the time that this show would be filming and all that, she would have been doing a sci-fi film that brought her a lot of attention from a lot of people. I went with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like it. I also like Demolition Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking at as the science fiction?
Yes.
Demolition Man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I can
It's
see
not
that
like
happening.
it's not like she's done a lot of sci-fi.
No, luckily, our choices so far haven't been heavy into sci-fi.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that may change with my next pick. So,
Me too.
so let's go ahead and do the next one.
All right. I'm not sure how to pronounce the next one.
Sardath?
Start off. Okay.
I don't know. I'm making it up too. But
A lot of the DC like Wikipedias and stuff, they go into how he was a great scientist and a good friend and everything else, but only one of them mentioned that he was Alana's dad.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of went.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, I mean they totally. He was right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I was like, right. But yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that they would gloss over that. I guess, I don't know, because, I don't know. Anyway, so I was trying to think of someone, because they also said that they created this guy to be after, I think it was, Skakowski. They kind of, they drew him to kind of, look like him. So I was thinking it must be someone that they really honored and respected, to immortalize him in a comic book and everything else. So I kind of went with the respect route, and I picked Sir Anthony Hopkins, who I think would have had
That's interesting.
Yeah.
a dad role and a real good smart role, Not that dads aren't, but you know.
He was doing some interesting things that year too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if he would have done TV, and it was probably before he was Sir Anthony too. So
Oh, most likely. I'm talking about 30 years ago. Yeah, more than
yeah,
likely. But a well-respected actor nonetheless.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Les?
I was disappointed when I thought my first choice had passed away several years before. My thought was Yul Brynner. I thought that he would have been able to pull this off without much difficulty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because he wouldn't have to be in the series or the movie all that much. Sardeth was there. He would give you support. He would give support to Adam and Alana, but he didn't really all that often give the solutions to the two of them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I had two ideas. One was known to be from another planet. The other was really not. The one that I thought was really from another planet was Ray Walston. To see my favorite Martian be a character here would have been interesting, but corny. It would have been something that people would have been laughing at the first time he showed up on screen. So I went with Tom Berenger.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
I thought you was going to say Robin Williams there for a minute.
No,
Nanu.
that's a different planet.
A little farther away. Yeah, it would have been difficult to do that with Ray Walston without playing it kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to keep it serious, you'd have to go a different route. But it also might be fun just to kind of put him in there and let him be a little quirky. Because, like you said, if he's basically just their encyclopedia, he's just the guy they call to ask questions about a problem. It wouldn't take up the whole episode.
Right.
So I think you could get away with it more, but that's an interesting one. I mean, so Tom Berenger's just good anyway, so that's an easy one.
Yeah, I think he's pretty solid.
I think both would work, but I don't. Maybe it's just me. I don't think it would have been as tough of a sell for Ray, because the first time I'm thinking about, you think about My Favorite Martian, but I was thinking about I also thought about the episode of Star Trek Next Generation where he played Boothby, the gardener who was there at Starfleet and was that was such a great episode.
Yes, it was.
And it's seeing him like that. It's kind of fits, at least from my recollection.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Oh. So, besides, I like Ray.
Right.
Not that I don't like Tom, but yeah. So.
Sure.
Okay, Mikey.
Okay, so this is one where you're gonna think I'm looking at a future role, but I really wasn't. I was actually looking at a previous role for him. Um, the feel I got from reading about this character, because not unlike Liz, I was not super duper familiar with all of this stuff beforehand. But the sense I got from the character was he actually, yeah, I mean, he's a scientist, but I also kind of viewed him as a bit of a leader, even if he's not necessarily like the leader of this group. He's not. I mean, he's a guy with a broad range of experience and can um, handle himself and others as needed. So I was looking for a strong supporting character, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So for this, I chose Edward James Olmos.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, weirdly, looking more at his Miami Vice role than his Battlestar Galactica role. But still.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I
He
went that
was
way then.
in Sons of Anarchy too,
Cool.
or not Sons of Anarchy, the
Everybody was in
spinoff,
Sons of Anarchy.
the Mayans.
Interesting. Did not know that. But cool.
Yep. Pretty cool guy.
The actor I went with, it's been at this time has been around for a long time. Has dabbled in sci-fi, fantasy, everything else, and I kind of envision this role kind of like what y'all were talking about. Maybe just kind of in there for just for a few minutes or so to kind of give Adam the direction where he needs to go for whether it's a mystery or a political situation or whatever. And I'm sorry. I went with someone that I just deeply love as an actor, and it's always great to see when he shows up on the screen. David Warner.
David who?
David Warner.
Ah.
Yep. He's greatness.
Yeah. He is.
All right. Next.
All right. This was actually my last pick. I couldn't find a whole lot about him. So, total looks alone, I went with John Cusack.
Really?
Okay. Interesting.
With the dark hair and baby face.
No, not arguing with that. I'm not arguing with any of it, honestly. I wouldn't, other than you making the pick, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
Yep. Okay. Les?
Captain Comet. Which route do you go? I'm going to go with somebody who was, once again, very popular. And that is Patrick Swayze.
Ah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Another dark-haired baby face.
Did he do much sci-fi?
Not that I recall.
Ghost?
Yeah,
Not that I'm.
Well, okay, good, fair enough. No, I don't view that as a bad thing either. I just think it just sort of like, wait a minute, did he? Couldn't remember.
I don't think he did.
I don't think so either much, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean he didn't play some pretty good roles.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
To me, Ghost was more of a mystery than it was science fiction.
Yeah.
So it was
And he was a Texas boy,
romance
so
story we're talking about. He was a Texas boy.
I still think the best thing he ever did was The Outsiders.
I haven't watched that in forever.
I don't know. Roadhouse is up there, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've literally never seen Roadhouse. I just had to throw it in there.
Huh. I wasn't
Blasphemer.
gonna say nothing, but yeah, you know.
Hey, if you're into action movies, and I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I have not seen it, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of sci-fi. I see a lot of action, but like you said, very diverse actor. So
A lot of
I
romantic
think he
stuff
could
too.
pulled it
So,
off. A
yeah.
lot, yeah,
So a lot of serious stuff, which is good.
yeah.
You want that.
Okay, Mikey.
All right. So I might have gone a little bit out on a limb here on this one because again, not unlike Liz again. This is a character I didn't see much about, and so I decided. I mean, what I did see was, good Midwest boy gets basically irradiated by a comet and becomes a superhero. Um, so I decided to focus on the good Midwest boy part, and was looking for somebody not quite as young as some of the others I've picked so far. So someone who could come in with a little more experience. I chose Tom Wopat
Okay.
because I also
Okay.
was going for the look a little bit too, but
Yeah.
he hadn't done anything. Well, he was working obviously the whole time, but hadn't had a hit in a while. So I figured let's give him a shot. Let's see what he can do.
It's an interesting choice. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think so.
If you think that's interesting.
Whoa, buddy.
I went with someone a little bit older. I thought he could have some fun with it because at this point in his career, he was already doing the action films, so I could see him, doing this as a reoccurring character and all that. Because I don't see him wanting to do a TV show after being on a very successful TV show. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Oh,
And was this about the time for Moonlighting?
This would have been a little after Moonlighting.
This is about 4 years after Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moonlighting
This
wrapped
is
up in
after,
87 or something, 88.
yeah. This is like Die Hard and all those films time period.
Did he do Die Hard?
That's what I've been told, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
He did the first one. I don't know if he did the sequels or not.
Wow, there's a slam.
Hey, I do not recall ever seeing a really, truly terrible Die Hard movie. I mean, they don't get better, but they're still pretty decent action movies no matter where you go. But
Well, they are, yeah. Even number 2.
Don't be knocking Jeremy Irons, man.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't in 2. He was in 3.
Dang it. Who was 2?
2 is where they were fighting in the snow.
Who's the airport?
Yeah.
I cannot remember. Maybe it wasn't great because I am not remembering who the bad guy was in that. But anyway. Yeah, Captain Comet, Bruce Willis, go for it. Like,
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting into the action thing at that point. He's at the point where he has realized, okay, if I'm going to make a crap ton of money in Hollywood, it's going to be as an action star. Because his brand of humor did not go over well in the movies. Looking at you, Hudson Hawk. God, I love that movie, but oh man, I can see where it did not appeal to anybody. Anyway, that's a different show.
I wouldn't mind checking that out again. It's been too long.
It's a love-hate thing
Yeah, I know.
with a whole lot more people on the hate side.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. It still doesn't mean I'm not interested in checking it out again.
Sure.
I think I watched it with you.
Probably.
So, all right. Next.
Okay. The next one we have on our list is
But don't tell me Hawkman is hard to pronounce. Come on.
Hawkman. I don't know how to pronounce the Qatar Hole.
Qatar Hole.
Qatar Hole. That's close. That's close. With my little accent there, I got it.
They later translated it into Carter Hall, if that helps.
Yes, that makes a lot better sense. And Hawkman, of course, he was one I was a little more familiar with because I think we've seen him in some other stuff.
He's been
Just
in
a
a
few
thing or
things.
two.
Yeah, just a few things. Although I was kind of lost on who to put this one through because I kept going back to the guy who just got ran over with a snowplow.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. He's not a Hawkman, but I don't know why. Who is he?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Okay, maybe that's why. But I just kept hitting Jeremy Renner.
Also, he was 12 when
Right.
we were doing this.
Yeah. I didn't cast him, but
Okay, good.
like I said, I kept getting those two mixed up,
Mm-hmm.
But I did go with someone who has played another Marvel superhero, and I went with Edward Norton, the Hulk.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
I could see that because he's actually a pretty good actor.
He is.
I mean, there are people who will argue with me on that, but
Yeah. I mean, maybe not in the Hulk, but
right. He may
I
not have
liked
been
him
well
in,
suited for that. I actually liked him
Usual
okay in the Hulk.
Suspects. And,
I thought he's all right.
Yeah.
I liked him as the Hulk. I didn't like the Hulk, but I liked him as the Hulk.
That wasn't a fantastic movie, but I think I thought he did okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's also a good actor, so yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see him do this for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Les?
Let's see. You let me know which one is better. Rutger Hauer or Kenneth Branagh?
Oh, that depends on what kind of Hawkman you want.
Yeah.
If you want the battle-hardened warrior, you go with Rutger Hauer for sure.
Definitely.
If you're looking for a more thoughtful, caring, feeling Hawkman, then you go Branagh. Either way, you're looking at an interesting role.
Yeah. I like it. Either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard to go wrong in either direction.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid either way, too.
Okay, Mikey.
That's fun, and then I'm going to catch some hate for my choice for this, but I'm going to stick with it anyway because I think it would be fun to give someone who caught a lot of shit for a previous role a chance to do something with a character like this. I'm handing this to Sam J. Jones.
Definitely physically, I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it would be interesting to let him kind of run with the character and basically see if he can act.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How much hate do you want?
Now.
Les would have an issue with it.
I know you didn't like the movie. The Flash Gordon movie from 1980 was in a lot of ways terrible. Go ahead.
He was good in Ted.
But I can see your point too.
Yeah, let's
He
give him something
needed,
better to work with.
Right, he
Yeah.
needed to revive his acting chops right there.
Yeah, I mean, Flash pretty much killed his career. So let's give him a shot. Let's assume that, or let's not blame a terrible movie on the poor bastard playing the lead role. Let's give him a different role and see what he can do with it.
Yeah. Just like that Reynolds guy.
Which Reynolds guy?
Bert?
No. Ryan.
Ryan. No, yeah, I knew what he's getting at.
I did too. That's why I said Bert.
Yep.
All right. For my choice, he's already done some sci-fi in his early career, and actually, a lot of people had seen it and liked his performance. This is actually going to be a year shy from his performance as Johnny Ringo. Going with Michael Biehn.
Cool.
Oh, I like that Hawkman. That would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
Mm-hmm. He's done sci-fi.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
He's done sci-fi.
He's done sci-fi. Yes, he's done a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah. Alrighty, next.
All right. I swear these names just get more fucked up as we go.
Kanjar Rowe.
Kanjar Rowe. Okay. He's another one I don't know a lot about. And when I was looking at his picture, the first thing that popped in my head was Danny DeVito when he did Penguin. And it's like, no, I can't do that because he would have been doing Penguin at this time. So I went to the previous movie and I cast Jack Nicholson. I think he could pull off that face and the acting.
Yeah, I was going to say, he could pull off a lot more than the face. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not looking for a pretty boy here.
No. And he did have those real evil-looking faces that he would make, you know.
Even without the Joker
Here's
makeup.
Johnny. Yeah.
Oh, you get into A Few Good Men, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a nice man.
He's not.
For sure. I mean, Jack Nicholson is a great guy as far as I know, but he plays a not a nice man pretty well.
He plays a good, not a nice man.
Exactly.
Alrighty, Les.
For Kanjar Rowe, at first I was looking for a very thin actor, because Rowe was always shown as a very skinny person. And of course you're going to put on so much makeup on this person. I was thinking of, because of his voice, Sam Elliott. But I decided on John Cusack.
Cool.
Nice.
Twice in one show.
There you go.
Very nice.
Cusack has done science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
He's done humor. He's done drama. He's pretty much covered it.
He has. I think that whole family is just talent.
Yeah. And when he started with his sister, I was stunned.
Yeah.
Of course, they did, 2 movies together?
Yeah. I like Joan.
Mm-hmm.
She does a good crazy girl part.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Alrighty, Mikey.
Very interesting. Funny thing, as much as y'all might have hated my last pick, you'll probably like my pick for this one.
Don't hold your breath.
And no, the funny part is I actually came up with another one while you were talking, Les, because of the way you were describing it. But I'll give you my pick first.
Sure.
Talk about someone who can play crazy. This guy got into the business playing crazy, and then went on to do some really nice acting work. And in sci-fi as well, a lot. And you mentioned tall and skinny. I went with Dwight Schultz for this one.
Ooh,
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
The person I came up with when you were describing him was Doug Jones, but
Yeah, I thought of the, yeah. But you did the tall, thin.
yeah, and lots of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow that guy knocks it out of the park every time when he's covered in prosthetics and makeup. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, either
I
way,
think he's doing voice work now, isn't he?
I think he's been doing voice work for a long time.
Has he? Okay.
Yep. He's got one of those voices that can do anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of voices, both my picks were basically done due to voices. And actually, I had really had a tough time because my next pick I almost had as for this pick, but I'm like, no, I want him for the next character. So for Kanjar Row, I went with someone who can do evil and can be intense and can be very like manipulative and intelligent and all that. Even at this, he didn't show it as much as this time, but so I guess I'm basing it based on future roles. I went with James Spader.
Ultron?
There's several roles that were like, I mean, the Blacklist. I mean, God, my God, the
yeah.
Blacklist.
But I'm looking at science fiction. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the voice of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, and in his roles at the time, he was in the 80s, he was doing some manipulative stuff
Mm-hmm.
because he was never really the good guy.
Yeah.
Even when he was the good guy, he wasn't really the good guy. But anyway, yeah, he's a good one.
I like that
I
choice.
like him as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh
He
yeah.
was the bad guy in almost every John Hughes film there was.
All right, and our final character.
All right. Final character. This guy's going to have a lot of makeup and probably CGI done. So it didn't really matter who you put under. Well, it kind of did matter who you put underneath there, but looks didn't matter on this one. So I thought what my show was missing was something a little funny. So, throwaway pick, I picked Jim Carrey for this one. 1992 would have been his funny time, and, give him some cheesy one-liners like them villains have, and he would have been smoking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is this before or after the cameras start?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Mask did show he could work with CGI.
True.
It did.
Yeah,
but think about what movie you're looking at that showed him as a bad guy.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I totally ran out of guys on this one. In 92, he was still on his way up, so he might have taken a TV role.
He was still on TV within Living
Yeah.
Color at that point, I believe.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
Was he?
yeah. So yeah.
Because I know this was right before
Pet Detective?
Ace
yeah,
Ventura, Pet
Ace
Detective.
Ventura. Yep.
Yep.
And that was right during his climbing that ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But he's another one that actually surprises me. Most people, when they think of Jim Carrey, they think funny. And he's like, what was that? Spot on the Internal Mind or something like that. That was just like, oh my God,
Eternal Sunshine of the
He's-
Spotless Mind.
Yeah. He's done some really, thought-provoking stuff other than just funny,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh yeah, he's been noted.
Um,
Alrighty, Les.
For my choice, makeup and all, I wanted a tall guy. And of course, the fin on the head would make it even taller. Depends which direction the fin goes, though. Does it go side to side or does it go front to back? Because originally it was side to side. But for me, I'm going to go
sounds
with...
like an Ariana Grande song.
I have to take your word for that one.
I'm going to go with John Lithgow.
Ah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
always a fun one.
He's
I was
always
just saying,
a
now he could be funny too, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Keep a laughing a monkey boy.
Mm.
Alrighty, Mikey.
Okay. I feel like I cheated a little bit on this one. Because if I remember correctly, and I don't have the thing pulled up at the moment, but if I remember correctly, he did voice work for this character at some point. But yeah, I know I might be stealing your thunder here. I had, and also this guy's just awesome, and he should be in everything. I went with Keith David.
Okay.
Yep, that's who I had picked as well.
I wondered when you said voice a few minutes ago, I was like, uh-oh. But he's so good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had forgotten he did the voice for on Justice League animated series. I had forgotten that. I was just like, oh man, either way you go, whether it's the regular person or the monster with the big muscles, almost like Incredible Hulk. Either way, with that voice coming out of that from that, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, some really great choices.
Fun.
Now, I looked him up, and it says that he did voice work for Spawn,
Keith David.
but they're
Probably.
not saying what character.
I'm
I'm wondering if it's Spawn.
I hadn't watched that animated series, and I watched a little bit when it first started, when it first came out, but I hadn't seen it since then, so I can't tell you.
Oh, he did play Spawn.
There you go.
And he also did the voice work for Spawn in the Mortal Kombat game. That's cool.
Good
Alrighty.
choices all around.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so happy anniversary to Adam Strange, and definitely check out some of the stories. I know they reprinted the omnibus, collecting a lot of the Silver Age stuff here a while back, and unfortunately I was not able to get my hands on one. I was wanting one so bad. But yeah, definitely check him out. I mean, he's had some stories here more recently. I think Tom King just did a extended series here about a couple years or so ago, and I've heard some good things about that. So definitely check him out.
Yep.
Fun stuff.
Okay. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with geek news for you. And we're back, and it's time for geek news for you. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. For this week, it is Les and myself. Les, would you like to go first?
Thank you, sir. My article is concerning the definitive, they call it the definitive 90s superhero team from DC. This is Young Justice. Young Justice was a group that kind of trailed the Teen Titans to get a younger group to make up a power team. And in this, you had several characters, such as Tim Drake as Robin, Connell as Superboy, Bart Allen as Impulse, Cassie Sandsmark as Wonder Girl. And in this one, they started off pretty strong. But then all of a sudden, people decided that we can massage this and put other people in. If you look back, originally the team that DC had was the Legion of Superheroes. Then came the Teen Titans. Now, after the controversial reboot of the New 52, the new Teen Titans were put into place, and Young Justice still had problems, but they attempted to pull this in. Several of the characters passed away in this, but luckily they were able to replace people like Connor Kent, who had died fighting Superboy Prime, and you also had the replacement of Cassie Sandsmark with Trinity, who was the daughter of Wonder Woman. The article is going to be posted. Take a look at this and let us know if you agree with what's going on here. In most part, I'm going to say it's okay, but I can also see where it could offend or make people really stand up and go, what a bunch of BS. So give it a try.
Yeah, people generally don't like change.
No.
True.
I mean, they don't want things to stay the same, but they don't want them to change either.
Mm-hmm.
People are weird.
Yeah, why would you want that?
Okay. From my article, it's some of the networks are starting to reveal their fall lineup of shows. And the thing that caught my attention is what ABC is planning to do. They're basically rerunning all their old shows and add additional reality TV series. They're holding what new shows they have in the can ready to be aired, at least until, say, like the winter break or some such like that, because due to the writers' strike that's been going on.
Hmm. So they're having trouble making episodes, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, a lot of this stuff's been shut down because there's no scripts, and I wonder why.
Hmm.
But we faced this before.
We have.
Writer's strike is not the first time.
Mm-hmm. And we still can't get it right, apparently. But anyway.
True.
The thing that's different this time, we are living in the world of streaming TV. So, I mean, do you really want to go to ABC and watch reruns of shows that you probably already had the opportunity to watch again through their streaming services? I mean, there's not much ABC can do. I get that, but it's just, I kind of go back to the discussion with my article from last week when we were talking about the pay TV and a lot of people are cutting cords. This could be the next thing. These broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, they have to get their shit together because they're getting their ass kicked by streaming shows that, if you go by what you hear not only through the media but by word of mouth, is superior stories, superior shows. So, they're trying to do, and all of them are wanting to do reality TV shows because it's cheap.
It's cheap and you don't really need scripts.
That's right. Game shows, they've kind of made a comeback. Why? It's cheap. And once again, you don't have to have scripts. I wouldn't be surprised if we start just hearing the return of some of the other older shows or brand new or older game shows or new game shows. Because it's cheap to put together, and all you got to do is, get contestants, and you might want some celebrities depending on what the show is. But some of the actors, they're standing with the writers, so they're you may not be able to get some of the ones that you want. So it's just I saw this and I started reading it and I started thinking about how much closer are we getting to the point where these channels are, what's the term, inconsequential,
obsolete. Mm-hmm. Well,
because
they've got to figure out how to compete with these streaming services that are putting out good content. I mean, the deal is they're not the only game in town anymore. And if they don't figure that out soon, they're not going to be a game in town at all.
Right. I mean, this article, it focuses on Abbott Elementary, which is a very popular show on ABC. But it's like, okay, so you're going to replay all those episodes. I'm sure there's people that would be happy with that. But, those are also available online for streaming. They're also available on DVD. why do I want to sit and wait until Wednesday night to watch this episode that I could watch at any time?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's on the streaming services.
Well, this is the other question this puts into my head is what about all of the, I mean, if you go into, I mean, honestly, you could use cable as an example. Half the channels or more are channels that show reruns all the time.
Uh-huh.
And you do this, you get into the antenna channels too, and it's the same deal. It's just a TV channel that's just showing reruns of old shows. I mean, you have to admit that the investment on the network's part to do that is pretty damn low because they're just paying for the whatever licensing fee to show the reruns, but that's not creating new content, so it doesn't really have that big an appeal. So how much? I mean, at what point does that just become all of broadcast television?
Right.
And at that point, why is it not completely irrelevant? So I don't know. I guess at this point we're trying to take a stab in the dark, so to speak, at the cause of death of broadcast television that's coming down the road at some point in the not too distant future.
Is it not a problem for the streaming services also? Not all of them have content, new content, like Mike said. So to me, is it more of a problem with streaming services also?
Yes, there's no new content. I get what you're saying, but there's been so much that's been put out the last 6 months to a year that some people hadn't been able to get to. Now they're going to have it because they don't have any other options.
Right, and I think part of the difference is that the broadcast networks are so accustomed to their schedules that they use. They have whatever week in August or whatever that they start showing their new content. That's an expectation that people have, is that you get to August or September or whenever it is, we're going to get new shows, and they're not because, they haven't been able to make them.
True.
So they're not getting what they want from, with this example, ABC. Why would they stick with ABC? Where else would they go? Even if there's not a ton of new content with Amazon Prime, for example, there is still a bunch of stuff on Amazon Prime that we haven't seen, but ABC's just showing reruns of their same old shows.
Yeah.
We can watch something new if we go to Amazon Prime. A lot of people will do that. Not all, but a lot. How long can ABC stand to do that before it kills them?
Not all that long.
You wouldn't think. I mean, they do have Disney Plus to hang on to, but that doesn't help ABC much directly.
Right.
And from what I understand, ESPN's not really doing that much better, unless I'm wrong.
No, I've heard some. Go ahead.
I would say seems like they're struggling too.
Yeah, I've heard they're struggling. I've read here and there.
And that is also unscripted content.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily cheap unscripted content, mind you, but
yeah, but that money's already been shelled out.
That's a bid that they made themselves.
Yeah.
Now, Mike and I were discussing something that struck me as odd just before we came back on, and that is the article was something of the nature of what's new on the CW. They were making the statement, it's not superheroes, it's more Canadian TV. I don't really want to watch Canadian TV, but I guess I'm sure there's a market for it.
Well, I don't know.
There must be, but there also must be a better selling point than quote-unquote Canadian TV.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to it than that. I mean, no knock on Canada or nothing, but
That's not what you said before.
what's the show about? Yeah. That was supposed to stay off the air, you know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, I have friends from Canada. It's cool.
I have a girlfriend from Canada.
And if your wife finds out, you're going to be in deep kimchi, sir.
Oh,
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, the thing about CW, I mean, it sounds like they're bringing one superhero series back, and the question is it Superman and Lois or is it Gotham Knights? Because everything else is already gone.
Yeah.
Either they've wrapped up this series or whatever plans there were for them, it's been killed. I mean, I saw something I think it was just today that they killed the plans to do the kind of the Justice League that was going to feature Diggle from Arrow. His Justice League. They canceled that. Honestly, it's the first time I heard that in a while, so I was like, I didn't realize they were still trying to do it because of the whole thing with them being sold off from Warner Brothers and all that. But I don't know. I don't know what some of these networks are going to do. Now, some of them are going to show. They're going to have some new series. Now, it may only be one or two new shows because they got to hold stuff in reserve just in case this strike goes well into the fall, I guess. Because, I mean, we're about to hit summer, and it's been going for, what, a month now?
Yeah.
Something like that.
At least. Yeah.
So, I mean, even if they strike a deal now and try to get things set up, you're looking at what, August for startup, probably. Try to get everything kind of get all the ducks in a row and get everybody where they can go back and start writing or filming. Because I mean, some of them it's just a matter of scripts hadn't been submitted, and some of them just they hadn't been written. I don't know.
Oh, at this point, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm betting you're looking more like January, February.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
before they can get things through the whole production process.
Yeah,
I mean, they'd have to skate through on whatever like you said, whatever they have in the can right now. They're gonna have to skate through fall on that and hope they can get something nailed down by August, so that they can start getting stuff back on the air by January, February, March.
which kind of goes back to some of these new programs being held till the winter break or so. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I think it's going to be hard for CW to recover because they let their best show go.
I think CW has probably been teetering for a while, and
Yeah.
this might the bad timing of this strike might actually be the final nail in the coffin there.
Could
Yeah.
be.
For sure.
Who would want to buy it at this point?
Yeah. Well, and what are you buying?
Right.
Like you said, they had the superhero lineup. They let it go. They had the Supernatural for 16 years, and that was, well, they didn't let that go. The boys decided to end it, but there's just not a lot going for them right now. Everything good they have, they keep shitting on it. So bring it back to life. Bring the boys back.
Yeah, they tried that. It didn't work.
Did they really?
My guess is that's the closest you're ever going to get again.
Right. I was going to say, they gave us some watered down shit and told us to like it, and we were like, meh,
Isn't that what
maybe
all
Yater.
TV is, though? I mean, come on. Let's be
Right.
realistic.
Yeah.
Speaking, I just did a little quick search, and in addition to the Diggle's Justice League show, the live action Powerpuff Girls. Anybody remember that? That's
Oh,
no longer
yeah.
that
The
is no
shit they were
longer
trying to pull on that.
that is no longer going to happen.
That probably
Um,
shouldn't have happened
A
to start
blessing,
with.
though.
yeah, and the female Zorro series they have also scrapped that. So
They just don't have a lot going for
Not at this point.
yeah, I was actually trying to pull up to see what kind of shows they have.
You're going to bring back Gilligan's Island?
It's going to have to be a reality show.
Yeah. Which castmate gets off the island? They win a trip to Fantasy Island.
That wasn't always better.
Right.
But anyway. I think the only way you do a reboot of Gilligan's Island is if you cast like Chris Hemsworth as Gilligan.
That would be difficult for him.
It would be fun to have all of the other cast members all the other characters be written to treat Gilligan like the buffoon that he was in the original show, but
Right.
it be somebody hunky and badass that they're just abusing and keeping down. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this.
Speaking about the cast, a little bit of a tangent. Surprise, surprise, on the show.
Shocking.
I saw just within the last couple of weeks, and I meant to say something but within the last couple of weeks or so, I saw an episode of Cheyenne. This was the Clint Walker Western.
Mm-hmm.
It was an episode that guest starred Alan Hale Jr., and this is prior to Gilligan's Island.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, I was sitting there, I was just devouring it because it was such a great character. It was like you saw some serious drama chops from him. Because I mean, anything after Gilligan's Island is he's kind of acting like the skipper to a certain degree. You know, kind of the jovial, hey little buddy, that kind of thing. Where this wasn't. I was like, you know what? He was a pretty good actor. I mean, his dad was a great actor. Alan Hale. It's fun watching Alan Hale Sr.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing him in this role, I was like, because it was a serious role, and he was, and all that. And it was kind of fun to watch. I was like, damn, he did have chops. It's just that freaking role. I mean,
Right, he got typecast.
Mm-hmm.
Near the end of his career is the sad part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I saw him on the episode of Laramie, and he's acting kind of like the skipper. I was like, oh god. So he had range. We'll say that he had range.
Absolutely.
We just didn't see a lot of that.
We didn't always get to see the good stuff.
Yeah, from like say the late '60s on.
Yep.
So I'll try to see if I can find that information, and maybe we can post it on the show notes for people to check out if they can. All right. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
I don't think so.
Not here.
Okay. We'll go on shout-outs. But first, we want to thank Pop Goes the Culture Podcast Network for allowing us to be part of a great group of fellow podcasts. We recommend you check them out. There will be a link in our show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who make up Potter and Family on Twitter, who've been so kind as to retweet our links. The best way to check them out is just to do a search, hashtag Potter and Family, all one word. Scroll through, whatever catches your eye, click on that link, download an episode, and we hope you have a great time listening to them. We also want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to the podcast. There will be a link in the show notes where you can check out their other pieces of music. Some good stuff there. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any comments, questions, suggestions, complaints, observations, what have you, please send them our way. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net is our email address, obviously. Or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form that you can fill out there. If you join our Discord, we do have a section specifically for feedback, and so you can post your thoughts there. On social media, we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Twitter, Instagram, and Hive Social, we're at Fellowship Geeks. If you'd like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at Tom TC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you would take a couple additional moments to rate and review the show, we greatly appreciate it. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, and be sure to look at the stuff that we discussed today.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We do appreciate your support as always. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,